Brett Moffitt continues to lead at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Ford EcoBoost 200, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, the championship race, the finale in this season, and Moffitt has been out front for 36 laps. Grant Enfinger has been out front for his share, more than 30. Noah Gregson's been out front for 34. It's been a very balanced race at the front, but right now Moffitt by nearly 2 seconds.
And Vince, virtual silence this entire race from Brett Moffitt on the radio. Look at those eyes. Look at the focus. That focus actually started last week in Phoenix after they won that race. People told him, Brett Moffitt told me this week, that he almost looked unhappy at Phoenix. And he said that's because he started thinking about Homestead almost immediately. That focus has gone all throughout the week and throughout this race. Nothing on the radio from him, just encouragement from his team as he tries to get this title with 22 to go, Hermie.
Noah Gregson third, almost 5 seconds behind the leader, Brett Moffitt. We've heard tonight from the crew chief, Rudy Fugel, the spotter, Tony Hirschman. The pressure is building. And now we've heard from truck owner Kyle Busch.
All on you, brother. It's up to you, man. We got to dig in. You got to give us everything you got here. Just like Martinsville when you drove away from that field, man. This is up to you.
They know it's desperation time for the 18. 20 to go. He's got some ground to make up, Vince.
Desperation for the 18. What can he do? Phil, I'll ask that of you. And Michael, how about the leader, Brett Moffitt? He's got about a 4-second lead from a championship perspective. What should Moffitt do? Phil, first on to Gregson.
I think if there's some speed up there in that last half a whip away from the wall, Noah Gregson probably needs to go up there and see if that speed is there. We know there's speed there. We've seen it happen so many times. Kyle Larson runs with that right rear quarter panel up against the wall. That's probably the only thing he can do. Now he's 4.5 seconds behind that 16 of Brett Moffitt. He's going to have to do something with only 20 laps to go, Michael.
I love what I'm seeing Brett Moffitt do right now. We've seen him dedicated to the bottom all throughout the first half of this race, but now he's searching around. I think he has a 1.5-second lead over second place, and it's given him the opportunity to feel out the higher groove, go to the bottom, go to the top. He's used different lanes all the last 5 or 6 laps, mostly running the top side. He's preparing for a late race battle to the checkered if the caution were to fly.
You saw the Camping World 20 to go, just inside of that now as Brett Moffitt leads the race and the championship.
Last time he was on the wall, that time down on the apron. So he's just checking his truck out to make sure he's ready for any battle.
He lost 1/4 second that time to our second place runner, Grant Enfinger. Still has a comfortable 4.2 second lead over Noah Gregson. He knows that the battle in the war are two different things. He can afford possibly to lose that lead to Grant Enfinger. Doesn't want to do that, but he knows he has to keep that 18 truck behind him. There's Grant Enfinger. He's running faster laps each and every lap, guys, than Brett Moffitt is.
As is Noah Gregson in this 18 truck. Last time by, the fastest truck on the track. That's been the trend lately. He's cut it to nearly just 4 seconds. Going to have a caution, though, if he's going to get in contention.
Well, and Justin Haley and Johnny Sauter, their championship hopes, I mean, if it stays green, you can just about forget it. I mean, they need a caution, and they need something drastic to happen for them to all of a sudden put themselves in championship contention, yet with just 18 to go.
And you're right, Vince. If the caution were to come out, you cannot afford to stay on the racetrack. I don't even think you can afford to put 2 tires on. You got to come to pit road. You got to be mistake-free and maybe rely on your pit crew to gain you some spots.
Sauter, you see, as you ride on board, runs 12th. Haley up ahead in 8th. Just hasn't been the kind of night Johnny Sauter needed. Hasn't had the truck from the drop of the green flag. Was crazy loose. Then they made a big swing, took a big swing at it, and they went to the other side of the fence and now fight tight.
Well, and his GMS teammate, Justin Haley, no speed either. So just the setup that they were confident about, and it just doesn't appear to be working.
But a couple of other their teammates are running 4th and 5th right now. Stuart Friesen the 52, and they're the 2 right there of Sheldon Creed, a rookie here running 5th.
Another impressive performance from the ARCA champ, Sheldon Creed.
That's the line I was talking about, that maybe Noah Gregson needs to jump up there and see if there's a couple tenths up there right next to the wall.
Gregson has cut that deficit down to just under 4 seconds, so he's definitely gaining. Little too late, though.
Yeah, with 15 laps remaining, you can't wait any longer, can you?
Well, it's time to go, Vince. Put it on the fence and take a chance. Matt Crafton's been impressive. We talked about that 22nd starting position. Throw straight to the front. But he's happened upon a guy running right on that fence and can't make any headway against Sheldon Creed running in 5th.
On board with the race leader, Brett Moffitt. You know, we got a good look of team owner Shiggy Hattori earlier tonight, standing on the pit box, keeping an eye on his driver and his team. Hattori, a former racer in his own right, drove in the IndyCar Series, the Indy 500, actually won a race here in Indy Lights back in the late 90s.
How about that? What a great stat that is.
And he is a racer. There he is, and he is passionate about this team and about this sport.
We documented at the very start of the show, there were times when it didn't look like they were going to have sponsorship to get to the next race, and he kept putting it together, kept coming up with sponsors. Ison is one of his major supporters. They've been on the truck a number of times this year. Shiggy Hattori really deserves a championship.
And we talked about this team. I mean, this is a small team. Crew Chief Scott Zipadelli, I mean, he's a guy, he's in there working on the trucks. Less than a dozen employees working on this team to get this 16 truck to the track each week.
And what Scott Zipadelli is thinking about right now is what if the caution flies? How late will they come to pit road to get 4 tires if we have a late race caution? He has to be prepared for whatever happens. Moffitt's doing his job on the track, running high, running low. Zipadelli's got to make sure that he has strategy for a late race restart.
And he's watching the number of trucks on the lead lap. Right now we have 13 trucks on the lead lap. The 4 of Todd Gillen is the last truck on the lead lap. I think right now, for sure, if he thinks that we're going to have at least 5 laps in the restart, I think you got to come and put tires on.
And you know what? It's never happened easy for Brett Moffitt. He's bounced around this sport for many years, even though he's just 26 years old. He's won races on late restarts. He's been up front and closed the deal. I'm sure he would love it just to remain green and cruise to the checkered, but what will happen if the caution does fly and he has to go to work?
Yeah, Moffitt had never made a Truck Series start here at Homestead. It made a couple of Cup starts, but had never made a Truck Series start here. And as you said, always seemed to find his way, trying to find his way. He and Scott Zipadelli worked together for the first time back in 2011 in the Xfinity Series race, and they had become good friends. And Moffitt saying he and Zipadelli are friends first, and driver and coach and crew chief second. And this would mean so much to them in their relationship as friends, much less as driver and crew chief. 10 to go for the championship, and Brett Moffitt.
Well, right now, Scott Zipadelli on pins and needles, saying, please, no caution. We have a 2-second lead now over Grant Enfinger. Please, no caution. Let's just go green to the end of this thing.
And not just a 2-second lead over Enfinger, but a 5-second lead over Noah Gregson for the championship.
There's Zipadelli, and we talked about Gregson making some ground early, but he's beginning to lose it now as we come down to 9 to go. This is some tense time on pit road. Brett Moffitt is so focused and steady on his job, he's just reeling off laps. That team all just hopes this thing goes green to the checkered.
Moffitt saying that Scott Zipadelli does such a great job of getting the truck to be its best late in the race. Sometimes they roll off, they're not quite as good as they need to be, or even the first stage or the second stage. But Moffitt said we always seem to be our best at the end. But they've been pretty darn good from the get-go tonight.
It's been impressive, and it started this morning at 8:30, Vince, when they hit the track for practice. He was clearly the fastest truck on average this morning. But that's tough, Phil, when you've got a truck that good in the morning. How will it be when it gets dark? And how will it handle under the differing conditions? That truck has been flawless all day long.
Remember, Johnny Sauter was our fastest truck in the first practice session, but that was a mock qualifying run. Started this race just like last year, really, really loose, and they really haven't caught up with it.
7 laps remaining for Brett Moffitt. A 5-time winner this season. So many of his victories, 6 career wins, so many of them have come with dramatics in the final lap. But tonight, he's walking the dog on him. Almost a 2-second lead on Enfinger, a 5-second advantage on Gregson.
He wants no drama in the last lap here, I can assure you of that.
The first 3 trucks last time by all ran within 1/100th of a second of each other. certainly Moffitt understands what the competition's doing and isn't going to take any chances as we head toward the checkered.
Gregson just not able to cut into that deficit. 6 laps remaining.
1 to 2, dead nut center.
There's Todd Gillen, the Ford truck, going a lap down. That will leave us with 12 trucks on the lead lap. Johnny Sauter, the truck running 12th right now.
You've seen the confidence in Brett Moffitt build throughout the course of the season, and this entire team, as they've overcome the adversity of struggling with funding and having difficult circumstances greet them at the racetrack during various race weeks. But they've overcome and they've performed, and with those performances have come confidence.
That's exactly right. And as they march toward the championship, just the focus you could see in Brett Moffitt's eyes and the way they work together, he and Scott Zipadelli, it's just been really impressive. Back when Brett drove for us at Michael Waltrip Racing, his father, Dick, who can't bear to watch right now, he was looking for a little help from a higher calling, I think, and certainly confident, but has been an instrumental part in Brett's career, getting him started and helping him get to NASCAR.
And I think that's a great shot because it just goes to show the nerves that Dad is feeling, and then also what this means to their entire family. People beyond the cockpit. A championship means so much.
I'm just so happy that they've raced to this position. We talked about the challenges, the late race drama. Just getting to the track at times has been a challenge for this team, but they've stuck together, they stuck it out, and they can taste a championship.
Vince, we talk all the time in the last few weeks. He hasn't had back-to-back top 10 finishes since Martinsville back in March. Well, how about that round of 6 that he put together? A first, a second, and a third, and he may finish that off with another first here.
Brett Moffitt. It's been a dominant performance for Moffitt. Well, near contact behind him that would have brought out a caution. Moffitt definitely doesn't want to see that.
That's Justin Fontaine. He's been tracking Moffitt the last 10 laps. Justin making his last start.
2 laps remaining for Brett Moffitt. Oh, Chris Wyndham got into the wall in that 54 truck, but the green remains out.
Hold it up there, hold it up there, hold it up there.
Looks like the right front tire may be down on that 54 truck.
Get down.
Hope it doesn't start coming apart here before we get to the white flag.
Moffitt's got to get to the start-finish line.
Brett Moffitt coming to the white flag and takes it. 1 lap remaining for Brett Moffitt. Moffitt says the championship won't make a difference in regards to how he is as a driver. Just winning a championship doesn't make him a better driver, or not winning the championship make him less of a driver. But he said, I want that championship for the validation in the record book, that someone can look at all time and see the name Brett Moffitt as NASCAR champion. And he is on his way. Brett Moffitt is going to do it and win the championship. Brett Moffitt is a NASCAR champion.
Nice work, Friday. Thank you, Brett.
Look at that smile on his You can see how big that smile is on his face behind the shield there.
And the emotion in the eyes of Brett Moffitt. He'd never won a championship in the NASCAR ranks of any sort. And tonight, he is the 2018 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion.
He's going to go through so many emotions thinking about all that he's accomplished. I'm sure he's going to be emotional about the victory, seeing his father in victory lane, honoring the team, Shiggy and everybody. This is a big moment.
It's the 3rd time that the Truck Series champion has won the season finale. Got to go all the way back to 1999. The last time it happened with Jack Sprague. But under this format, the only time it's happened where the race winner has clinched the championship in the process. The crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, is with Alan.
Hugs all around in the 16 pit for crew chief Scott Cipodelli. You told us before the race you were the favorite. How does it feel to make it happen?
I mean, we're just so excited. I'm just so proud of this whole organization. Everybody on this team deserves this. This is a total team effort at HRE Enterprises. And we couldn't have done it without Toyota TRD support. They've stuck behind us, and the farther along we got in the season, the better we did. They kept helping us out, and this is just a team sport, and that's how I treated it. And these guys just did an awesome job.
How do you explain this team? It's small, it's underfunded, it's not supposed to be winning championships, and it did. How do you explain that?
You know, we don't have what some of these other teams have, budget-wise, but what we do have is people. We've got the best people, and they all have heart, and this is it. This Brett Moffitt, he's did an amazing job all year. I'm so proud of him, and man, I just hope somebody will come on board and keep this thing rolling, because I'd hate to not to come back next year and try to win a championship with this kid.
Congratulations. Go celebrate with your driver.
That's awesome. You just can see how much it means to Scott.
And Scott Cipodelli, very understated, but you know the emotion that he's experiencing and the joy within his heart to have been the architect of the championship team.
As he mentioned, they don't have a whole bunch of people, but they have some really good people. Mike Ricci, Michael, who you know very well, is over there as team manager. They just do such an outstanding job, and culminates here with a championship.
We didn't have the drama at the end of the race that we often see for a Brett Moffitt win. This was the most convincing of the bunch. But I'm sure that Moffitt, and I can't wait to hear his thoughts about the closing laps and the feelings he must have been experiencing as he brought it down the stretch, knowing that the championship was awaiting him.
And this is the first time since 1999 that our champion won the finale.
And when you have joy, you also have the pain of not winning the championship, and Noah Gragson feels that.
You put him in a position, though, Vince. He's got to be proud of that.
The joy of victory. Brett Moffitt and Hattori Racing celebrating their highest point, champions of the Truck Series.